How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. It's currently Saturday afternoon and I'm just now getting started. I spent most of the week just looking over the car and enjoying seeing it in one piece and ordering a few things that I needed. I got a trunk gasket coming so I can test the fitment of the trunk spoiler pieces with the gasket. So in the process of that, I'm currently getting started on doing the fenders and hood. So let me show you what I'm working on. Alright, as you can see, I'm literally just now getting started. So I went ahead and wiped the top of this fender with Guide Coat. I didn't get too far, as you can tell. My buddy's been out here looking at it. There's some greasy little handprints, but that's okay, we'll get them cleaned up. So there's this little low spot right here on the top of the fender. I call them elbow dents because for some reason people love to dig their elbows in the tops of the fenders when they're working on these things, but I might have to put a light coat of glaze on it. But let's get to it and let's see how it comes out. Alright, so now I've got cut throughs quite a bit. Got two bare metal cut throughs here, which is on a roll, so that's kind of a given. You're going to get cut throughs like that. But as far as, it's probably just a little bit thicker than a sheet of paper, so it's just barely low. A good primer block will take care of that. So I think I'm going to call that good. I'm going to move on to the rest of the fender, and I'll let you know what we got. So I'll see you when we get done with that part. Alright guys, it's Saturday night and the fender's blocked. Real quick, I'm going to take you through the fender, show you what issues we have. I think everything should be a good prime and block fix. We're going to try that theory anyways and find out. So first, it's going to be right here where this wheel arch curves down. There's a little bit, kind of like a high spot on each side. It's not real like bad. It's not real bad, it's got a little bit. But I do think a good priming block might get rid of most of it. So that's what we're going to try. Up here is my elbow mark. Like I told you earlier, I mean it's, so you can get up in there so you can see, I mean it's almost gone. So I think a good priming block get that one. Really the only one I'm kind of wondering about is this. I'm not entirely sure why this is high for. It is just a little bit. This is a low spot. So hopefully a good primer block in that area too will knock it out. The area with all the stretched metal feels awesome. Super happy with that. And then on the very bottom, I did have to skim coat this bottom because it had a lot of rust pits and things in it. So once I sandblasted it in epoxy, I went ahead and skimmed just to smooth it up. And I blocked it pretty hard just to make sure that all the filler was good and level, and for the most part it feels pretty good. There's still a little low spot right in here and maybe a little bit on this edge, but overall I think it does look pretty good. There was a little bit of stretched metal in here, but it still feels really smooth, so I think again another good priming block should knock it out. So I haven't decided yet if I want to do one fender at a time just so it's not so overwhelming, or if I want to go ahead and knock two out. So we'll see, but it's getting a little bit late. I'm tired and I'm ready to call it for a night, so I'll catch you guys later on. See you in the morning. Good Sunday morning, everybody. So I've been trying to think of how I want to tackle doing the body work forward. As far as the way I did the quarters in the roof, it was a little bit exhausting and kind of got stale after a while. I got burnt out and I don't want to do that this time. So instead of trying to do huge sections at a time, I think I'm going to try to take it a panel at a time. So the game plan is to go ahead and get this back in primer, get my low spot sprayed, do a couple coats over the whole thing just to try to see if I can get rid of the lows and imperfections that I have. I'm going to go ahead and pull the lower extension off, go ahead and sand it also. Now we're only really worried about from about here this way, but as you tighten the bolts for the flares, sometimes it does kind of pucker the metal out, so I mean, that is kind of part of it. I don't know. There's not really a good way to fix it. I guess you could put a bigger washer on it, something like that. But we'll cross that bridge. But pull this off, block it down like the fender, and we'll go ahead and get it in primer again also. And then I want to pull the driver's side mirror off. There's a little seam, like a casting seam. I'm going to try to smooth that up a little bit and then get it to the same stage as the fender. And then on the other side, I'll do it the same way. I'll do the fender extension, and the mirror. and then we'll move to the hood. So that's the game plan. So I'm gonna try to do it in little pieces, knock this fender out, fender extension and mirror today, and see how we can go about getting the rest of it done. Who knows, maybe doing smaller sections might actually work better. So let's get to it. They're in the top. In my defense, I didn't put these on. And there we go. So now, let's get sanding. Alright, so that's just kind of a quick block sand. There's a little bit low right here. Not enough, I wouldn't think, for filler, but I'm like another good priming block. Just a tiny bit low here, which will mean with all these different pressed edges, you're bound to have a little bit of something. As you can see right here, there's bare metal showing on both these spots. That's what I was talking about it. You know, when you tighten the bolts up for the flares, it can pucker these up. As long as you don't pucker it up real bad though, you won't ever really see it because the flare comes out to about here. So I know all this right here really doesn't matter if it's flat or not, but I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well take the time to do it right. So I went ahead, just quickly sanded this area. Oh, it feels really good. Not that you're gonna see it, but I'll know it's done right. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna sand all my edges real quick. Kind of sand down the side of here. And then this part should be ready. Alright, so now that the extension's been sanded, I've roughed up the edges and stuff. I think it looks pretty good. This is ready for primer. So, my next thing I'd like to work on is this mirror here. Now, it's a long-winded screw, it might take a minute. But anyways, on the mirror itself, there's a casting seam that runs up on each side of it. On the front, on the back. The mirror itself doesn't really have anything like that. It's just like the leg piece. So I'm going to pull it apart, kind of smooth that seam out some, scuff the mirror, and get it ready to go to primer off. Alright, so there's 2 screws on the inside, 2 nuts on the inside. They're not very tight. I'll set them right there so I can lose them later. Alright, so again, let's turn you around here. Alright, so I don't know if you can see, just a little line, a little seam right there. It's on both sides, around the mounting hole. Kind of rough looking. So I just really want to smooth up that seam and see if I can make it look just a little bit better. It's a small detail. Most people are never going to see it, but at least I can say I tried. Alright, so I can, as a disclaimer, go ahead and say that I can't guarantee that this is the best idea in the world. But I'm not trying to do much, just trying to knock off just a little bit of it. So hopefully it'll go good, so we'll find out. So far it seems to have helped quite a bit. I don't know if you can really see it, but that is a lot better. I'm gonna call it good there. I think a quick priming block will knock out the little bits left. It's just barely there. So hopefully, small detail, but hopefully it'll make all the difference. Alright guys, so we got the primer done, thank God. Actually, for just a day and a half worth of work, I think we did pretty good. So I'm hoping that the fender spots will be knocked out with this coat of primer. If not, they gotta be super close, so we'll see how that goes and we'll let it cure for a little bit. But I'm gonna flip you around and let you see how everything looks. Alright guys, so here's everything. I think it looks pretty good. The fender extension, I think it looks really good. Kind of round a primer right there if you can't tell, but hey, whatever, it'll sand off. So the door mirror, the actual mirror part, it had some pretty good little like pits and stuff in it from the casting, so hopefully a couple coats knock that out. And then here is the one that had the really bad seam in it, so it's hard to tell, but it's a lot smoother than what it was. Alright, so here's the fender. The fender looks pretty good. There's a few spots that we had to do a little work on. There was low here, the elbow dent, just a little bit of a low in this corner, and then up here on the wheel arch. But overall, I put extra coat in those spots, so hopefully that should help knock out most of those. I will say, I feel like for just a weekend's worth of work, we did pretty good. A fender extension, and a door mirror, not too shabby, so let's just keep that pace up. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and hopefully this week I'll get to work on the other side. But until then guys, have a wonderful one. I'll see you then. Have a good one.